Chelsea fans have finally got the news they've all been waiting for. Well, not quite. Axel Disasi is leaving Chelsea Football Club this season. Yes. Is he leaving on a permanent deal? No. Chelsea football fans have been waiting for the back of Axel Disasi, and it looks like he has agreed personal terms to join Aston Villa till the end of the season on a dry loan, which means there's no obligation or option to buy at the end of the season. It's just a simple loan deal till the end of the season, because if we're perfectly honest, Aston Villa need coverage at centre-back, because if we look at Aston Villa's squad, they definitely need coverage because they've had 2 injuries and they're not going to be out for so long, but they do need cover. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all well, and guess what? I'm finally getting to make a video on 2 teams I like to make videos about, Chelsea and Aston Villa. It's good to see them doing business together, but there's even better news because my Twitter account is back, as you can see from the below. So happy. I've spent the past 2 weeks just worried, stressed, I've sent about 571 emails. I've made about 341 appeals. I've convinced the Premier League to retract their claim, and boy, has it grinded me out, man. I worked hard to get this Twitter account back. So for that reason, please smash up the like button, support this channel, and if you haven't already done so, hit that like button. But let's get into it. Aston Villa need a centre-back. They need a stopgap until Tyrone Mings or Pau Torres come back, and it looks like Axel Disasi will be an option because he's not really getting a look in at Chelsea, and Chelsea will be glad to see him coming off the wage bill. So it does make sense. And if you look at what Aston Villa need, they need somebody that's physical, good, has a good aerial presence, just a bit of presence in the heart of their defense, because I do think that's what they're lacking. Now, with Aston Villa, they definitely need a centre-back. If we look at this, they've got Pau Torres is injured, Konsa is fit, Mings is injured. That's all they've got. 2 left centre-backs and a right centre-back. These 2 are going to be back in the next couple of weeks, so we're not too worried about that. But they need somebody as a stopgap until these 2 come back, and then add more depth to Konsa as a right centre-back position. So Axel Disasi ticks a lot of boxes for Aston Villa. They don't have to fork out any money, so it doesn't impact their PSR rules, and they get a loan deal without an option or an obligation to buy. If you can be a stopgap and do a job, absolutely, it's definitely worth it, because that tells you Aston Villa needed a centre-back, and that showed in the second half against West Ham that they were crying out for more depth in that position. Now, look, I know Chelsea fans hate the sight of Axel Disasi because he's made a few errors, he's cost them points, he's just been so clumsy at times, but I'm a firm believer that just because you don't work out with one club doesn't mean you won't work out with another club. You are where you are at the elite level for a reason, because you have something, and if Unai Emery can get that something out of him, it can really be a blessing in disguise for both Axel Disasi and Aston Villa. Now, the only thing I worry about with Axel Disasi is when he goes into those wider areas. That's where he got exposed so many times against Chelsea, for Chelsea, sorry, especially when Chelsea's fullback went on advance. He had to cover those wide areas. Aston Villa do something similar. Lucas Digne gets attacked a lot more than Matty Cash, so their left centre-back needs to be comfortable in wider areas, and that's my only slight concern. For the short time period, can we play Konsa left centre-back, Axel Disasi right centre-back, just until Tyrone Mings is back? People have been telling us on Twitter he's only out for 1 week, 2 weeks, so it's just a short-term injury. So this signing makes absolute sense for Aston Villa. You're not forking out 30-40 million plus on a centre-back, but you're just making do with a stopgap, and that's exactly what it is. Now, one thing I will give credit to Disasi for, I think he's actually better on the ball than some people give him credit for. And yes, at times he can be clumsy, he can let you down at times, but there are so many centre-backs that do. Now, if we look at Axel Disasi here, statistically, it's not very good. It's actually really good, but when you watch him on the eye test, what I find irritating with Disasi is his turn and circle. He kind of changes direction very quick. He's not sharp in acceleration, and that's my worrying sign, and that's why I worry about him going in wide areas. On the ball, you're going to get a lot out of him. He's going to progress play. He's going to break lines for you. Yes, does he always make the right decision? Probably not, but he's comfortable in possession. That's what Aston Villa need, and he's going to provide that physicality, that aerial dominance that you do need at the back. So as a stopgap, this isn't a bad signing for Aston Villa. But since we're talking about Aston Villa, with Unai Emery, we've seen that he can improve players. So just because Axel Disasi was not a good signing for Chelsea and didn't really work out with Chelsea, doesn't mean it won't work out with Aston Villa. It's a different style of play, different environment, in an environment where he could flourish. Where would we be in this world if we just written everybody off at every opportunity? The guy hasn't even kicked the ball for Aston Villa and we're writing him off already. I understand why Chelsea fans want him out of the football club because he's frustrated me at times. He might not do that at Aston Villa. This could be a blessing in disguise for Axel Disasi. Now, there's one other player I want to talk about before I go on Aston Villa, and it's somebody that has been impressing me more and more and more, season after season, game after game, and it is Boubacar Kamara. He is absolutely outstanding. What I like about him is he's well-roundedness. He's not just a defensive midfielder. He's more than that. He's been excellent every time I see him play, showing more and more consistency game after game. And the biggest factor about Boubacar Kamara is he's effective in all thirds. He's comfortable receiving the ball deep and then facilitating passes into the final third, breaking the lines. He's composed, controls central areas. He brings an overall calmness to Aston Villa's play. He can dictate play. He's good off the ball, covers a lot of ground, links up play well in the final third. So he's ticked all third of the boxes. And that's what I like about him. He's just such a classy midfielder. Technically excellent. He breaks and anticipates danger, and that's one of the key elements that he brings to Aston Villa. I think he is better with Unana alongside him, but his anticipation is top notch. And I really like this about him. And he's comfortable in tight areas with the ball. And like I mentioned earlier, breaks lines. And that's what you want for Aston Villa because they're so good at getting runners off the ball. With somebody like Kamara, he's always the pre-assister, somebody that assists before the assist. And he doesn't get the glory, but he should get the glory. He's just an all-round brilliant midfielder that's been excelling but also improved under Unai Emery. And that just goes to show the level of coaching that Unai Emery's done with this Aston Villa squad. Not much has changed since Steven Gerrard, and they're unbelievable to watch. So full credit to Unai Emery, full credit to Aston Villa for going out their way and putting their trust in a player that hasn't lit up the world. Do you know what I mean? So I actually have so much admiration for Unai Emery for this. But do I think there's better options out there? Probably. But it's probably the case of PSR that lets you down. That it means you can't go out and spend what you want to spend or bring in the players that you want to bring in. So you've got to be a bit creative. And that's exactly what Aston Villa are doing. But I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Axel Disasi will be a good defender? I don't think he's going to be a long-term defender at Aston Villa unless he absolutely lights up the place. But I can't really say that. But I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment in the below. I just want to make this short video because I'm bouncing at the minute. I've got a little spring in my step. So yeah, I'm just going to eat good food and relax. But I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Before you leave, hit that like button because I've got my account back. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, ciao for now.